Hello everyone! Ho ho ho! In the true spirit of the season, we have been blessed with yet another trailer for Final Fantasy XVI, and as always, this gives us a chance to compare the Japanese and the English versions of the trailer. The trailer is relatively short, so I won't bore you with too long of an introduction, but just to explain the format a little bit, we will start by simply playing the trailer with the official English subtitles at the top, the Japanese below that, and my own more direct translation of the Japanese at the bottom, allowing us to compare it all together. Then, once the trailer has finished playing, I'll be sharing some of my own thoughts about these differences. But who am I? I'm Nöhke from Birds of Play, and if you end up liking the video, please consider subscribing to the channel as we continue to wait for the release of Final Fantasy XVI together. See you on the other side.
ジョシュアを連れて脱出を。兄さんも一緒に行こう。俺はお前を守るためにここで奴らを止める。ジョシュア様、お逃げを。僕がジョシュア。復讐は生きる糧となる。だが時に自分が復讐のために生きているのか、復讐という名の病に生かされているのかわからなくなるんだ。残酷な現実が待っていようと俺はあがき続ける。いい子だ。動いた。襲ってくるか。ジョシアの仇を討つためだけに生きてきたんだ。こんなところで俺は死ねない。来い、イフリート。
So that was the trailer, and as you might have noticed, it wasn't very dialogue heavy, instead focusing on some action and gameplay. As such, there aren't really any big revelations to be had by mining the Japanese trailer for information. For example, even though only the Japanese trailer has Joshua referring to Clive as his older brother, the fact that they are siblings is already common knowledge. But here we probably have the biggest difference between the Japanese and the English versions, as the metaphor that Clive uses to describe his relationship with revenge is a bit different. The English version speaking of revenge as a weapon, while the Japanese version speaks of revenge as something that sustains him. In this way, the Japanese version starts to characterize Clive as someone who is suffering or someone who needs something to give his life meaning, although he's not sure whether it should be considered a blessing or a curse. Pushing this characterization further, we have a line a bit later in the trailer where Clive says he will continue to struggle forward as opposed to just pressing on. The Japanese line implying some lack of composure or gracefulness, as opposed to simply evoking the idea of the stoic hero. We of course haven't gotten the chance to really get to know Clive, but I feel like the Japanese version in this instance, in a very subtle way, makes him just a little bit more endearing to me personally. Moving on to a battle scene with Clive, Jill and Torgal, We also see some notable dialogue differences, as the Japanese version portrays them as more surprised and less sure of themselves. Jill being surprised that the ancient machines are moving, and Clive being unsure whether they will attack. And once again, I kind of prefer the wounded and unsure Clive to the stoic Clive who just kind of flippantly says, "Oh, the usual," when faced with danger. Now, this of course doesn't mean all that much. These are just a few lines from a game that hasn't even been released yet. However, it does make me curious as to whether the Japanese and the English versions of Clive will be notably different in the final game. Only time and a more thorough analysis will tell. But what did you think of the trailer and the differences between the Japanese and the English versions? Share your thoughts with us down in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Final Fantasy XVI content. We have big plans for Final Fantasy XVI and would love to share our work with you when the time comes. But until next time, caw-caw!